Hey everybody, it's Nate Wiley with Nate Wiley Studios. I'm here doing a 2020 Electoral College map prediction. I'm going to try to do this as unbiased as possible. Obviously, I'm a Trump guy, but I'm going to go with my gut here and the polls that I've seen that kind of seem more reliable than the national polls. Um, this is what I truly believe is going to happen. Total bias aside, this is my educated guess and the polls that I've seen. So I don't want to make this video super long. I'm going to get the obvious states out of the way just to speed this up a little bit because we have through 50 states here. So California, blue. Oregon, Washington, that's all blue. Hawaii, blue. I'm going to give him Minnesota, even though that one could go either way. That's kind of margin of error in a lot of polls. That could break for Trump, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But I'm going to say they're leaning Biden. And I wish this map had like the leaning colors, but this is just, I guess, the basic version. But we'll say Biden for Minnesota, even though I think Trump could possibly pull that one off. I'm going to say Trump takes Wisconsin, and I'm sorry, there's an ad playing in the back. I hope y'all can't hear that. So I'm going to say Trump takes Wisconsin. I think that's pretty clear that he will. Obviously, Biden's going to take New York, D.C., all the big metropolitan areas like that. I truly believe Trump's going to take Pennsylvania. This is a big one. Uh, all the polls I've seen is Biden tanking in Pennsylvania. His support is dwindling by the day, and Trump is surging. So the fracking thing, I think, killed Biden in this state. I'm pretty confident Trump's going to take Pennsylvania, and that spells big trouble for Biden. Uh, my home state, Kentucky, pretty clear cut. It's going for Trump. Always does. Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana. That one's actually kind of close, but still going to go for Trump. West Virginia, definitely Trump. South Carolina, Trump. Missouri, Trump. Illinois, Biden. Uh, these are pretty obvious states. I'm just going to get these out of the way. So, red for Indiana. I'm going to wait for some of these swing states here. Let's go Oklahoma for Trump. New Mexico, that one's kind of close. A lot of people have that going for Biden, but the surge in the Latino vote and this area of the country in general, especially with Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, has been going more and more right. Texas has been kind of a swing state, right on the fence. It's always been right, but the last few elections, it's getting more and more left. But this one's still leaning right for me. Uh, I think there's no question he's going to take Texas. Trump's going to take that for sure. New Mexico, I actually think that Trump's going to take New Mexico as well because of the Latino vote, like I was saying. Arizona, same thing. I think Trump's going to take that. And again, a lot of polls, most polls, have Biden taking either one or both of these states. I think Trump's going to win both of them. I really do. That's not my bias. That's just what I've seen, what I've heard with talking to people. Uh, the polls, the real polls that seem to get them right and not the national polls that seem kind of skewed, has Trump leading by 2 or 3% in both of these states. It's within the margin of error, but it's leaning right. Alaska, Trump. Utah, Trump. Colorado is going to go blue for sure. Nebraska, Trump. Iowa, Trump. North and South Dakota, Trump. Pretty clear. Idaho, this one's funny. I think there's almost a 100% chance Trump is taking Idaho, but a lot of liberals are saying Biden's going to take it, and I don't really see any evidence as to why they think that. Every national poll I've seen from like CNN and some of these crazy places like MSNBC, they have Idaho going blue. There is nothing that indicates that whatsoever. Everything says the contrary. So I'm going to go with Trump on that one too, as well as Montana and Wyoming. Okay. Now, from there, I'm going to say this one's kind of a toss up. Nevada could honestly go either way. Uh, it's kind of a quirky state when it comes to these sort of things. This has become a swing state, really. I'm going to go with Trump just because of the polls that I've seen recently. I think it leans more right. Honestly, I wish this map had like a leaning color or like a toss up. I guess this is a toss up. Yeah, if you leave it blank, it's a toss up. I'm gonna leave that as a toss up for now. We'll come back. Maine, Trump's doing very well in Maine. Uh, I think he's gonna take it easily from everything I've seen. Vermont, definitely going blue. New Hampshire, I think, is leaning more right. Now, that could go either way, but my gut tells me Trump's going to take New Hampshire and Biden's going to take Vermont. Massachusetts, I'm going to go ahead and call that blue, even though it could go either way. Virginia, call that blue. North Carolina. Now, here's one of the big ones. A lot of polls show that breaking for Biden, uh, especially like the CNN polls, MSNBC, some of those further left polls have him winning that one easy. But everything I'm seeing on my end here is actually showing some pretty strong breakout for Trump in North Carolina. It's honestly a toss up, but if it's within the margin of error and it's a toss up, and all the real polls that I'm looking at are showing it break for Trump and him being the incumbent, I think that gives Trump a strong case to take North Carolina. So I'm going to go ahead and give him that. And pretty much everything I just said applies to Georgia, except for one thing: the black vote. Black vote's very big in Georgia. There's a lot of African Americans in Georgia, uh, and Trump is doing unbelievably well with African Americans. Uh, I mean, the highest numbers in decades for a Republican. So, because of that, because of the incumbent, because of everything I just said, and the polls I'm looking at, I'm putting that for Trump. So, Kansas. Go ahead and put this for Trump, even though it's kind of a swing state, or a swing state rather. Uh, you wouldn't think it is. You'd think it'd go right all the time, but the polls I'm looking at actually has it going both ways. Uh, being the incumbent and more recent polling in the last 4 or 5 days here has Kansas breaking for Trump pretty strong. So my gut tells me he's going to take Kansas. I mean, it's part of the heartland. Usually goes pretty right, but it can flip. So Trump for there too. Now, let's get into some of these swing states. Michigan, this could go either way. This is one of the key states, and so is Ohio. Like always, it's always Ohio, right? It's every single election. We look at Ohio and Florida. I swear, these two states drive me nuts. I don't know what you all do in Ohio, but man, uh, y'all can't seem to agree on anything. I swear. I'm a, Florida is just kind of an odd state. You never know what to expect with Florida. It's like Florida man rules down there. You just don't know. I mean, they could go blue, they could go red, they could go damn Green Party. You have no idea what Florida's going to do. So, given the surge in Latino vote, I'm going to say, because even in Miami, uh, there's a lot of Latinos breaking for Trump. Uh, Trump is showing, look in the poll I'm looking at here, uh, he's showing about a 3% lead in Florida. Now, the national polls and CNN polls have him down in Florida, obviously, or at worst case for them, they have it as a toss up. If CNN puts it as a toss up, you can almost guarantee it's breaking for Trump. So, my gut and everything I'm reading tells me that's a red state right there. So, if you're looking at the map, that gives Trump the victory right there. So, honestly, he doesn't even need Michigan, Ohio, Nevada, any of those states. But I'm going to go ahead and put what I think is going to happen. I think Nevada might actually lean blue, uh, even though it could go either way. I think Michigan's going to go red. I know that sounds crazy, but I think it is. A lot of people probably get mad about that one, but I mean, I just got back from Michigan 2 days ago, and I saw Trump signs in damn near every single yard that I passed. I was in even some more liberal areas just outside of Detroit, and then I went up to Flint, and I stayed in this small town outside of Flint. And man, everywhere I went, like right in the middle of the state, in the heartland of the state, Trump signs were everywhere. I didn't see, all I saw was our governor's an idiot sign, which was hilarious, and Trump signs. I saw like three Biden signs. If I'm being very liberal with my estimates there, maybe three or four. And there was dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of houses and farms, and even in the city with Trump signs and big flags everywhere. The support for Trump seemed abundant, uh, and that was just 2 days ago. So today's November 3rd, Election Day. It was crazy. I was not expecting that at all. And I even went to the Capitol. I was in Lansing, outside of Detroit. Uh, it seemed very strong for Trump. So I'm going to go with Trump big time there. It's just very clear just looking at it. Ohio, I don't know what to say about Ohio. I, I don't want to seem like too biased and give that to Trump just off the bat because it is a swing state. Um, you know, honestly, I'm seeing mixed reviews on this one. Um, I'm seeing the more conservative polls saying Trump's going to win big in Ohio. I never want to say anyone's going to win big in Ohio. You never know what's going to happen in that state. So I don't know. I'm going to leave that as a toss up for right now. Let me think about it for a minute. Let me go ahead and get New Jersey out of the way. I don't know why I didn't fill that in yet. Blue for New Jersey. Uh, let's go blue for Maryland. And honestly, Delaware could go red. I'm gonna put it blue. Uh, that would be hilarious if Trump won Biden state, wouldn't it? That would be so funny. But I don't think it's gonna happen. Let's put Connecticut as blue. Man, that's hard to click on. Rhode Island is gonna go blue for almost 100%. Let's see, is that it besides Ohio? Yeah. Okay. Make a decision on Ohio here. I'm just gonna go with my gut here. I'm gonna say Trump gets Ohio, and it's not because I'm a Trump guy. The incumbent usually gets more votes. They know what to expect. They don't really know what to expect with Biden. I think all of his problems actually outweigh his positives, even from a Democrat perspective. There's not a lot of support behind him because of that. Uh, yeah, I think I'm going to give that to Trump, and this is my prediction. I think Trump wins easily with 318. Biden maybe 220, and that's a pretty conservative estimate. So if you look at this map, there's nothing really shocking here. Uh, I mean, look at the blue states. You already know all these West Coast states uh, are definitely going blue. Colorado, Illinois, uh, Minnesota, New York. You know those are all going blue. So obviously, I'm not going to give Trump any of those. And a couple of these toss-up states like Minnesota, Nevada, uh, and even Virginia, really. Uh, Virginia is usually blue, but some of these other ones are kind of toss-up states, and they could go either way. But I'm gonna give those to Biden just because they seem to be leading that way. Uh, yeah, this is what I think is going to happen. Now I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be a landslide for Trump. I don't think it's going to be even close. Uh, Trump's numbers, his enthusiasm, and the lack thereof on Biden's side, I think is going to be a huge victory for Donald Trump. Uh, Now that's without any funny business coming from the left. I know a lot of people are worried about corruption and voter suppression and the mail-in ballots, and we've already seen some of that crap happening. It's always coming from the left. There's my bias talking, but it's true. Uh, if it's all fair and square, if everything goes just how it should be, and everyone's vote is counted, right and left, if everyone is voted, if vote counts perfectly like it should, this is what I think the outcome is. From everything I've seen, from everything I've read, I am pretty big into politics, and I think this is a very, very close estimate of what's going to happen here. I'm confident in Trump's victory. If there's no funny business going on, I think he wins 4 more years, bigger than he won in 2016. I think the red wave is going to be even bigger than it was then. Now we can get into all the reasons why that is, but you already know the reasons why that is. So I'm going to stick with this. Um, we'll see what happens. We may not know for a long time. I mean, it could be a month or more. I mean, I'd say it's very highly unlikely we get an answer tonight. I think it's probably almost a definite no that we don't get an answer tonight. But yeah, at the end of the day, with no corruption, with no fake ballots, with no losing votes, if they count all the votes, this is what I think we come to: a clear Trump victory. Biden's going to get crushed, and we're probably going to have some crazy times coming forward. I mean, there's going to be some riots and people going nuts. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I think it probably will. I think Trump's going to win handily, and the liberals will lose their mind. Um, the far left people, not just Democrats. I'm not talking bad about Democrats, just the far left. So, yeah, that's it for this video. Just a quick little rundown of what I think is going to happen. And everybody get out there and vote. Have a safe night. Don't do anything crazy. And yeah, I'll see you back soon.